All right, here we go. Another episode. I'm excited for this one. I got my man Brian
What is
on the
up?
line. So, fellow gym owner, or I should say ex-gym owner. Did you sell your gym?
Yeah, I sold two out of the three, and the third one we brought virtual. We just kind of kept a nice tight group of like our OGs, and
Yeah.
Kristen's still coaching them. So
Yep.
yeah,
So we got a great episode tonight. I'm excited to have you on, fellow fitness business owner, coach, trainer, entrepreneur, just straight up badass dude. And it's been a pleasure working with you up to this point. So I'm excited to have you on and gonna let you share your journey thus far inside of Forge Father. So
dude, it has been a journey, and but I mean, it's funny because I was talking with one of my friends the other day, and he was like, "Dude, you hired a fitness coach?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Don't you run fitness businesses?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because it doesn't matter how much I know or how long I've been doing it, to have an outsider perspective and new programming and things like haven't necessarily done a lot, and someone to kind of push you out of your comfort zone. I
Mhm.
think everybody needs that, you know."
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you're in. I'm really good at marketing. Not to toot my horn, I'm really good at marketing. I have a marketing coach too.
Yep.
I think it's just there's so much value in having somebody who one knows you, because you and I have known each other since 2012. So we've
Yeah.
known each other for a little bit of time, and they know you, and they know what you do, and they're still able to put. I think they can push you better because they know what you're capable of,
Yeah.
and they don't like you never judge me because I run a fitness business, and a lot of times I ask you questions that I know the answers to, but I'm just looking for that validity, that just
Yep.
assurance, like, am I thinking right? Because I mean, yeah, we specialized in group training primarily. I did a lot of the old school bodybuilder type workouts myself, athletic style training mixed in, but I knew what you had was something that would really push my limits. And I knew you were going to make me do things that I normally wouldn't make myself do. And that's, I think, the key to having a coach is you need to have somebody who can make you do the things you know you need to do, but you're not doing. It's like I always tell people, the best thing about having a coach is they remind you about what you should be doing, right? What you should
Yes.
be focused on at this moment of time, because you're able to look at my journey non-biasedly without any context, just look in and say, here's the data in front of me. Here's what you need to be focused on right now. Don't worry about this yet. We'll worry about this when we get there. And I think just having somebody to cut through the noise of, especially in the fitness industry, with so much
Mm.
noise going on and so many buzz terms and so many philosophies, and a lot of them are good. They just may not be right for my body. I think just the weight of having someone who can just look at it and go, I know you. This is what you're trying to do. This is what you need to focus on. Say no to this. Just being able to focus.
Yes.
And dude, it's totally worth every penny of time and money ever spent investing in a program. But I mean, I'm loving the program. It's definitely pushing me. But I tell you this, I have never once. I'm a little guy. I know I look like 6 foot tall on camera. But for those of you that don't know, I'm like 5'1". I am a little dude,
He's a short
and
dude.
I am a little dude, and I'm 5'1". I'm a buck 53 right now. When I started the program, I was a buck 45. My body fat's down like 6%, and like my strength is through the roof right now. Like I've never once deadlifted over 185 my entire life, and I think I was repping 225 the other night, like 5 sets of 5.
Oh
I've
yeah.
never once ever, and it doesn't sound like a lot of weight to like a bigger dude. That's a lot for a little dude like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm super pumped about it. Overhead pressing things I never thought I would. I'm just like, I'm feeling this beast mode. And I told you, I texted you the other day on the coaching app because I love the coaching app. We've used something similar to my clients. It's just great to have that communication with a coach. And I
Yeah.
texted you the other day, you're like, how's it going? I'm like, well, my little daughter thinks I'm the Hulk because I have muscles. So I think I'm doing something okay. I've never been called the
Yes.
Hulk my entire life.
Heck yeah.
So I'm loving it, dude. It's a really good program, really pushing my limits, man.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been great having you a part of it. And yeah, funnily enough, I mean, you're talking about coaching, right? I mean, we can go into so much on
Oh,
that
so
side of
much.
things, but that's how we literally met each other. We were both a
Yep.
part of a high level coaching group where, as business people, we were looking to grow our businesses. And so what did we do? Well, we invested into ourselves and
Yes.
we joined a mastermind. And I think the other thing the biggest thing that you take away from those groups, it's not the information. Like you can go on Google and you can find a lot of the information. And it's just like the fitness side of things. Like guys can go Google diet, they can go Google workouts.
It's
It's the
free. It's
community.
everywhere.
It's the connection, the
Yeah.
community. It's the environment, and then it's the relationships that you create from it. So like you and just a handful of other guys that we met, and within the coaching group that we're in years ago. Gosh,
It's almost a
friendships are
decade ago.
strong, man.
FYI, almost a
Crazy,
decade
man.
ago.
Crazy, crazy. When fixers pop up from like the meetings that we used to have, it's just
Oh
it's
man,
crazy.
we were babies, Travis. We were babies.
No
I
kids
mean,
yet.
this was before kids. You could see the life in our eyes. Like we had
Mhm.
tons of sleep and rest, and we
Yes,
were so
yes,
healthy and stressless.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yes, yes. Times has certainly changed, man. So
Oh
here we
man,
are. So how many, and tell us a little bit about you, and how many kids do you got, Brian, and all that good stuff, man.
yeah. So I mean, the dads out there, they're trying to get a bearing. I am a father of two. I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. That's awesome. They're. I told Kristen this is my
Great
nightmare
ages.
phase. I'm like, dude, if I can make it through him being 2 and her being 3, I think once we get past there, I'll be able to just sleep a little bit better until they hit teenage years. But no. So I have a boy and a girl. They're awesome. He's exhausting. She's awesome. She's a daddy's girl. And then we run, of course, businesses. So Kristen is still running the online coaching business. I run a marketing automation business where we help fitness people, create better client experiences for their people. So because we all know, like you said, it's about experiences and relationship, and that's what we did so well. So we run the online business side of things. We have the 2 kids. I married the girl who's been my best friend since, I was 12 years old. I called dibs on her when I was 12. She was way hotter than me. But it's proof that if you know how to sell, it'll take you places in life. And
Mhm.
it was a 15-year follow-up process, but eventually I married her. And
There you
but
go.
no, she is just a rock star wife. She's been doing some of the workouts with me. She has felt the Stetzel a few times after some workouts. That's the verb we use in my house when we're feeling something, a little dom's kicking in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we live a super busy lifestyle, right? Because we're working from home a lot, as are a lot of people right now, given the times, and very pressed for time because the kids are so little. And they demand a lot of time of us. Plus, we have a 120-pound puppy, uh, who's
Yeah.
also, if you've never had a puppy that big, it's quite a journey with toddlers. But he's, I think, a year and a half. So I mean, it's waking up early to get your stuff done. Having the routine of food, I think, is what's giving me all the results that I've had right now. I mean, the workouts are killer, but just the consistency of eating, as you know, and I both know, a lot of times people don't get the right results because they're not eating enough. For me, and
Mhm.
that's what it was. A lot of us get caught, especially entrepreneur dads out there. We get caught being dad and being business owner, and we forget we have to fuel the Ferrari if it wants to keep
Yes.
running. And we don't eat enough. We eat enough to function, but you and I both know we're just running on adrenaline. We're running on fumes all
Mhm.
day, and we want this, buff build, this ripped build, but there's no building blocks to build it with.
Nope.
And I knew that was my mistake. That's why I jumped in the coaching program. I knew I needed to eat more of the right stuff. A lot of your suggestions have helped just in terms of calories. I don't think I've ever eaten 2,200 calories a day in my life, and I do it like clockwork now. And honestly, if I don't, I feel like crap. You've made it pretty enjoyable. I'll be real. I didn't think eating this many calories would be like enjoyable. I mean, you didn't start me there. I built to it, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
I mean, the way you did it was just so brilliant and so stressless. And I told Kristen, I was like, even if I come down a little bit, I don't think I could ever drop below 1,800, 2,000 calories and just feel the same. I feel
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like I just feel good right now. But you've helped me with a lot of those meals. So for me, I wake up earlier, not like, I don't want you to think I get up like 4 or 5 a.m. That doesn't happen with 2 toddlers, especially one that's
You
going through
get
the
your
phase
sleep.
where, dude, yeah, I mean, like she's going through the phase where she doesn't want to be alone. So like she'll wake up in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., come barging through the door and you're up. But I'm up between 6 and 7 a.m. And I try to get some stuff done before the kids get up. I come up and I eat breakfast. I have a snack. I just same snack every day. Quest protein bar. You know what I'm saying? Is it the cleanest? No, but does it get the job done? Yeah. And then I have my lunch, and then I do dinner, and then a snack after dinner. And I think that food routine, I think it really help pull me out of the Rona funk, as I call it. Like having
Yeah.
to take the gym and convert it online, and just have we all had our worlds turned upside down. Especially if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, dad of any sort, or even any professional dad who's working. We all had our lives turned upside down. And I think when life turns you upside down, you need something you have full control over to get you pulled back into the fold, right? And I think by just having you help me make the food routine more consistent was what I needed. And then it spilled into the other areas of my life. Now my daily routine's better, all these things, because it started with just getting the food lined up, got the food lined up, started feeling better, started getting my sleep routine dialed back in. I work out, no less than usually around 4 or 5 workouts a week. I do it at the end of the day, which a lot of people think is crazy because everybody thinks you have to work out in the morning to be successful. I hate working out in the morning, dude. If I work out in the morning, I will take a shower and go to bed by 9 a.m. I can't. It does not work for me. So I work out at 5 p.m. with a whole family downstairs. And right before dinner, we hit our Stetzel workout, our Forge Father workout. And we got the kids' little foam weights, so they lift weights with us, and we rock on the music. My little boy loves Rage Against the Machine, and we listen to some heavy music, and we work out. We get our sweat on for a good 30, 40 minutes or so, and we go up and have dinner, and it's this awesome routine because the kids get to work out with me and dance around to music, and it's this normal part of life for them now, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we were going for. We wanted them to feel like if mom and dad aren't working out, something's wrong. Right? We want them to see that is the normal, because as you know, kids don't listen to a dang thing you say, but they sure as heck watch everything you do. So, but we're loving it, man. And that's kind of like the day in the life. It's just, fitness really helped me kind of get the bearings, and I started getting the dad bod. I started freaking out, dude. Like I'm 32 at the time we're recording this, and like my kids were just beating the crap out of me that first year and a half, 2 years. And I just kind of, I was still hitting workouts here and there. I hit maybe 2 a week, and I was eating not total crap, but definitely not as clean as I could have been. And I kept seeing this back fat in the mirror, and I was like, that shit's got to stop. Like, I can't do this. I'm a Virgo, man. I care about the way I look, and I didn't want to be a fat dad. I wanted to be an alpha dad, dude. I wanted to be a dad that other dads looked at and they're like, he's doing steroids, because that's what guys think when they see somebody who's in better shape than them. Always crack me up.
Endless comments on my ads all the time.
Travis,
I just got one yesterday.
Royden.
They just always put those comments.
Which is funny, because if they actually, and I'm like, if they actually had a conversation with you and actually knew you, you've looked like that for so damn long. Like even back in 2012 when you were train aggressive, I'm like, this dude is the most jacked guy. And it's totally performance. Like you could perform like crazy stuff. Like I was watching your workouts. I was like, man, he's looked like that for so long. Like there's no way he was roiding from like the late teens into the freaking, like, no way, dude. But, and that's the thing. People just, they cut down what they don't, as Grant Cardone says, the people who cut you down are the quitters. They quit on their dream of being fit. So they have to take it out on you. Right. And, but I want to be that dad. I want to be Travis Stetzel, man. I'm like, dude, if I can look like a warrior like Travis, I'll be okay in life, And it's nice when the wife gives you that look once in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what it's all about, man. And going into your past, like you were a high level athlete. You were a martial artist, right?
Yeah.
Like, talk about that, man. Because I remember, what are you, like a black belt and something?
Yeah. So I have a 2nd degree black belt in traditional Tang Soo Do, but I mean, I was kind of a martial art whore. I trained in a lot of stuff. So I got involved. I got involved on a national circuit. I also was part of a world competition team back in my Tang Soo Do days. I have I think 3 world titles from ITF that we got there. And I was always a competitor, dude. I always loved competing. And what I loved about martial artists, unless you're like really fighting somebody or sparring, we did a lot of the open martial arts. So a lot of the flippy stuff, the twists, the forms, the weapons, like the stuff that you think could hurt somebody, but really it's useless. But it's definitely a sport because, man, does it push your body. And that's why I think I really enjoyed it, because I was always competing against myself a lot when it came to the forms and the weapons, which is what I was known for. But yeah, and then I dipped my toe in NASCA for a bit, which is like the huge circuit. That is like the best in the world. I took one gold medal in a weapons tournament in like the hardest division there, and I was pumped. I was like, yeah. I was like, the one time I beat the guy who I always looked up to, and I was so pumped. I could have just retired right there and been like the happiest person. But I did, you know, and we trained like crazy, man. Like
Yeah.
I was teaching martial arts in high school to pay my bills. So I would go to school, I would train, and then I would compete on the weekends, and that was pretty much my life, you know. And we competed hard. I mean, like the training we did was just stupid. I probably shouldn't have done half of it, knowing what I know now about kinesiology and physiology and stuff. But I mean, it was a huge part of my life for 13 years. I competed for 13 years, and it was awesome. Tons of memories. A lot of my friends I made are now doing the John Wick movies. A lot of my instructors are doing stunts in movies and stuff. So it's definitely really cool. But I used to be like that really ripped, had like a freaking 8-pack shredded martial arts competitor. And then, you know, kids happened, and I had it even when I was married. I still had it, but man, the minute kids happened, first kid, second kid, back to back like that was just, man, it really derailed you. And then yeah, dude, it's hard because like, you know what it felt like to feel like a badass, and then you're starting to feel not so much of a badass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you kind of feel that pain of, man, I'm just not the caliber I wanted to be at. And I'm not doing the flippy flashy stuff anymore by all means, but I was still training in jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and Krav Maga quite a bit because I love violence, and it's very zen for me. I just did it for so long; it's second nature. I enjoy it. Firearms training too. Took up firearms training. Really enjoyed firearms training, but it's all a skill, and I think what we're doing right now, I love it so much because everything martial arts and firearms wise, like everything practicality wise, is just way better because I'm not losing my speed. I'm not losing my agility. It's becoming faster, and I'm becoming more agile. I'm stronger than I've ever been. So when I choke somebody out now, bro, it chokes out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is quick.
Yeah.
But I mean, it spills into so many things that I enjoy doing in my personal life. And I'm actually feeling like a ninja assassin again. We always joke on my text messages. You're like, I just want to feel like a ninja assassin again, you know? And definitely getting it back. I still got to get my technique back from a skill standpoint. Not like it used to be when I was in my 20s and late teens, but I'm definitely feeling like the man version of what I was in my early 20s, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's awesome because the man version of myself is way stronger and way wiser than I was in my early 20s. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it, and I love how what we do in your programs brings those things back into my life on a very real, practical level for my age.
Yeah, it really does connect everything together, but then it elevates everything else. Because looking back at what you used to do with your martial arts, that takes so much time, effort, but more than anything, you know, discipline.
Yeah.
Right. It's discipline, one of those words that we throw out there, and that's really what it comes down to, is just having a higher level of discipline. Like, and that's essentially what we've got you back in.
Yeah.
I guess put back in place for you is just, okay, there's the structure. Let's get some structure in there.
Yep.
You know, let's get some better routines back into place. Let's be disciplined with that. And that's kind of where the coaching comes into play too.
It's
I mean,
huge.
that's why I have a coach. I have 3 coaches like you. You know, what do you got? You got 2 coaches right now? Or
I got 2. Well, I got 2. 3 if you count my firearms instructor.
Sure.
But yeah, so 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes a world of difference. And I think a lot of it is the expectations. I think coaches, they raise your standards. I think some of the biggest stumble stones when I was really stuck was I lowered my standards and didn't realize it. I was letting myself get away with stuff that the better version of myself wouldn't let myself get away with in a normal circumstance, right?
Okay.
So I think having a coach to just hold you to your own standards of what you know to be excellence, because you don't expect anything unrealistic of me. You just know what I expect for myself. You hold me to my own standards. And I feel like we all want to puff up our chest and be like, yeah, I have discipline, you know, hustle, grind, brah. But then, like, when push comes to shove, your ass is sitting on the couch watching Netflix when you should be working out or doing something productive or meal prepping, man. Like, we all know what we should be doing, but we let our standards and our expectations slip. And I think that's probably one of the most valuable things to have a coach, is just to remind you of what you expect from yourself. And you do that really well. Even just the simple check-ins. I'm like, I know Travis is going to be checking in this week. If I don't have something good to tell him, I'm going to be in trouble. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to disappoint you. And I think that's the biggest thing when you're choosing a coach. You want to choose a coach that has screwed up a lot, for starters. Everyone thinks you need this perfect person. I was like, no, you need the person who's really screwed up and has gotten results after, right? Because then they know when you screw up how to get back on track. A lot of people don't value that enough. And two, you have to find a coach who can look at you and know, like, this is where you need to be, and anything less, I don't want you to disappoint yourself. And then I think, like, the third one is, I wanted a coach that I didn't want to disappoint, because I never want to have a conversation with you where I have to tell you how royally awful it's been the past week because I'm just derailed and I refuse to get back on, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you know I'm better, and I don't want that look of disappointment in your eyes. And it's not like if I have a bad day or whatever, dude, whatever, it happens. But it's if I don't bounce back or if I don't perform at, what I can perform at, like, I never want to have that disappointing conversation with you. And I feel like a lot of people miss that. They're like, well, I have accountability with my brother or with my buddy who works out with me or whatever. I was like, yeah, but the thing is, if you miss a workout, your brother or your buddy is not going to be, you don't care. You know what I mean? They're like, they're mad at me. They'll get over it, whatever. If you get upset with me, dude, I feel like dad's upset with me. You know what I'm saying? It's that feeling of disappointment that I never want to feel. And that's the key. Find a coach who, like, you don't want to disappoint. Like, you kind of look up to the point where you're like, dude, I want to be like this person. I never want to have that disappointing conversation. Not that it'd be bad if you do, you'd pick me back up. But, like, that's that motivation I need, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. Looking at the coaches that I have currently, it's like, you are spot on. Like, you don't want to, okay, Thursday's coming up. I know we got this check-in coming up. I don't want to be on a phone conversation with my coach and be like, dude, I didn't follow up on any of that shit that we talked about last time.
You don't want to be that guy. Don't be that client. Don't be that client.
Don't be that client. Yeah, so
we all had that saying, don't be that client. Like, if you say you're going to do something, you better friggin' do it, right?
Yes. Don't be that client that, hey, didn't we talk about this last time?
Yeah, I know, right?
But man,
we all do it.
Oh, we all do. And that's the thing, like you mentioned it, like, find a coach that has screwed up many a times, but has come back and has proven that it works. But guess what? You don't have to be on the perfect path. You don't have to be Mr. Perfect. You don't have to, hit 10 days in a row or whatever the case might be. It's just, you got to be consistent, and that's really
you got to be real, right? Like, I mean, like I said, it's my father-in-law's birthday. Guess what I just had before this call? Piece of chocolate cake and a little scoop of ice cream. Mm-hmm. Guess who it's not really going to affect? This guy. Because the rest of my day's been on plan. And I'm going to go home and kill a workout anyway. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's finding that balance, because, like, what good is eating good if you can't eat in the moments that matter? You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to celebrate with people. And I think people sometimes see the Travis Stetzels of the world and be like, man, they must never have cheat days. They always expect this, like, perfection. And I'm like, dude, Travis has been doing this stuff for, like, over a decade. Imagine doing something for over a decade. If he has an off meal here or there, it's probably not going to undo a freaking decade of hard work in one meal. Like, I always joke with this. I'm like, everybody, right? I'm like, everybody wants to complain because the results don't come fast enough. I'm like, you better thank God they don't, because they don't come off fast either, right? Like, if it takes you a year to get a certain look, luckily for you, if you have a cheat meal or a bad day, it's not going to undo a freaking year of kicking ass. You know what I mean? It's a two-way street, and people forget that a lot, right?
If that was the case, if it was like, if it came down to like one meal or two meals or even a whole weekend of meals, well, last week at Disney World, that would have came back completely fat.
Those damn Mickey Mouse waffles, man.
But going back to all of the masterminds that we used to have, like,
dude,
food was always like, I would look forward to food. I'd almost look forward to the food more than
I just kept paying thousands of dollars a month to get the food. I mean, like, I hang out with my friends and eat really expensive food. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I remember you guys would always give me shit because we'd go out to dinner
Oh,
I'd
dude.
get appetizer, salad, I'd get the steak, and then I'd be like, "Where are you guys going? Like, we got to order dessert too."
It was a
So
line. Like Travis had his own like VIP line of like carts of food. It was like an endless pit. I'm like, bro, where are you at? 5,000 calories at this point? Like, we're all ready to go. Travis is still like, oh, are you done with that? Well, shit, I'll eat it. Like, he was just packing in the calories. But then, like, no shit, the next morning you go down to the freaking hotel gym to get your workout before the meeting. Travis is down there freaking deadlifting every weight in the hotel gym. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I still remember I walked into the Hyatt for that one, like you were working out. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and get like my little 30-minute like Metcon in. And I go down and like Travis has like this circle, like a seance of workout equipment around him. Like there was not one weight in the gym that he did not touch. And I'm just like, that's why you were eating that shit last night.
Yes,
Like,
yes. Had this
you are
workout the
what you
next morning.
preach.
I
Yeah.
had to get that fuel in, man. So
You are what you preach, bro. I'm never
it
gonna
is
take that
fun.
away from you.
It is fun, man. It is fun. But Brian, yeah, you're walking the walk too yourself, man, and it's been an enjoyable ride so far, and I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
where it's
I think I got another
the
phase
next
coming up,
stop.
don't I?
So,
Got
yep,
another phase
yep.
coming up, don't I? I know because my app's not telling me and I get worried. I find the best way to do your program is I don't look at the workout until 5 minutes before I do the workout because then it's like a box that you're opening on Christmas. You're like, oh, what's it going to be today? So I looked
That's fun.
and I didn't see anything coming up. I was like, oh man, that means there's a new phase coming up. So I'm pretty stoked about it.
Hmm.
My
Yeah,
wife probably won't be, but I'm stoked about it.
yeah, yeah. I only allow like a full week. You can only see a full week ahead,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
if I give you like 30 days, like shit, nobody would stay in the program, man.
Dude, take
It's
the Christmas present approach. Just don't look at it until you have to do it.
exactly.
It's so much more fun that way.
It's good times, man. So Brian, your big golden nugget, what is it, man?
We know we know food is always the key because you can't out cardio a crappy diet. You just can't, right? But in terms of that area of focus, because your workouts are phenomenal. But in terms of the fuel element, which I think is the element a lot of men struggle with, what I found, and everyone's different, but what worked for me is experiment in the beginning to find out what flavors you don't get sick of and just eat the same stuff as much as you can. And the reason why I say that is one, you don't have to think about it anymore, right? I eat the same breakfast every day. I have the same lunch all week. I mean, you could change it from week to week, but like same breakfast every day, same lunch every week, same snacks, right? The only meal that's a little different every day is dinner, depending on what the wife's making. It's always a protein, a veggie, a carb. It's always what it is, right? So I eat the same stuff all the time. And when you do, you're going to find two things. One, you don't have to worry about what you're eating because you don't have to think about it. It's done, right? And two, when you go to track it in MyFitnessPal, you can just copy and paste from the day before and change dinner. Because if you
It's
log to
so easy.
MyFitnessPal, you know how stupid that damn thing can be sometimes trying to find the freaking food and make your meals. It's annoying
Oh yeah.
sometimes. So like, dude, just copy and paste. And I'm dead serious, Travis. Like the reason why I've gotten the results I've gotten is I got okay with eating the same stuff all the time. And I think a lot of that has to do with your approach. I told you this in the very beginning of your program. I said, I love the way you approach food because you never call it food. You always call it fuel. And I think the repetition of hearing that in all your programming, in your videos, in the live meetings with the Brotherhood, and all the stuff that we do, I feel like my brain is starting to detach the emotion from food. No, Grant, I mean, I still love a homemade snickerdoodle cookie if Krista makes
Hmm.
them, right? I'm
Yep.
still
Yep.
human. But in terms of my weekly food, um, I'm okay with eating the same stuff all the time because for me, it's fuel.
Yep.
It's honestly turned into fuel. And if I don't eat the same stuff or similar stuff all the time, I feel like something's really wrong, and my energy feels like I get stressed. I honestly am to the point where if I get off my food routine, the pain of getting off the routine is way higher than the pain of just eating the same stuff all the time.
I
Uh,
agree. I
and
agree.
but it takes time to get there. I mean, I'm in a different spot. We've been doing fitness a very long time together, right? And if you're just starting, maybe that's something you're not okay with. A lot of people hear that idea, they're like, I don't know if I could ever do that. It's
Yeah.
good when you find it on your own and find the flavors that you can do all the time, but you don't know until you
Mhm.
start trying, right?
Yep. Yep. And there's a system that we have is the lean 16 is what I
Yeah,
call it. And basically
I love
it
it.
just it whittles down your selections. And as an entrepreneur, as a business dad, you got a lot of decisions to make
Yeah,
already during the day. Why put that on yourself to,
exactly.
stress and be even more frustrated with more decisions on what should I have for breakfast? I want something different. It's like, okay, have that discipline and just cut down on the selections. And again, that doesn't mean that we're Xing out a certain whole food group or sugars or
Nope.
this or that. You can have all the things, but
Yep.
it's like just Monday through Friday, and that's really the key to my success. Is
Yeah.
I'm a creature of habit, and I just eat pretty. I have like two different variations of breakfast. I have two different variations of lunch, and
Yep.
dinner is a little bit more like you know. There's probably three or four different variations of dinner that I
Yep.
typically eat. However, my wife has been cooking a lot of what is it? Hello Freshly or something like Freshly.
Oh yeah, the kits, the cooking kits or
Dude,
whatever.
I'll come in and the house smells delicious. So I've just been
Do you
eating
like
that.
put extra like man-sized proteins on there? Because sometimes you get those kits and there's like, here's 2 ounces of chicken. I'm like, yeah, I need
Yeah,
8.
yeah.
Like
It's like that's all the chicken they're giving you. But
I know,
yeah,
dude. Every time I get the kits, I'm like, where's the protein, man? Like
hmm.
I'm like, I'll
And that's
take both servings.
that's something else that I noticed when we are at Disney World is there are no protein sources anywhere. Like on the
None.
park, it's like they want to keep you fat. They want to get you fat. And so all it
Yep.
is like sugar and fats. And then if
Yep.
they do have protein, they're going to charge you like $20 for
It's
like a little
bad.
chicken tender.
You gotta
Even
go to
at
the
the
buffets and
Starbucks,
stack up on eggs, man. That's the only way you get
even
it.
even at the Starbucks, they didn't have their normal like
The
egg,
egg bites,
egg bites. They didn't
you
have any
know,
egg bites. It's just all pastries. Man, I was so
that stuff that
disappointed.
crashes you, bro. It's the stuff that and again, what I loved about your program and what's always worked out for my body, bro. I eat a ton of carbs, like I do, but I that's my fuel source, so my fats are a lot lower than my carbs, right? And like, and my protein is there to balance everything out. And I think that's that key is that balance. And when you go to theme parks, there's no balance of macros. What it's
No.
carbs and fat, the unholy duo is what I call it, right? The minute your carbs and fats go way up and your protein's low, dude, you're gonna feel like crap and look like crap. It's
Yeah.
just the way it is, at least long term, obviously not for a couple of days, but it does. I love that list you gave, and that's pretty much what I made all my meals off of. But I experimented. I found the things that I could eat consistently and not really get sick of, or I could season them differently. And yeah, it really makes a world of difference. It's just one less decision I have to make. And with toddlers and businesses, the less decisions I make, the better. Especially come like 9 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night when I'm fried. Like I don't want to think about stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it definitely made it easier, my guy.
Awesome, brother. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey up to this point. We'll have to do it again here
Yeah.
in a couple months after we've continued to put in the work and after you have survived this next phase of training.
Yeah. I got to get you some
So,
before and afters after this phase. We'll have to compare them to the
yep.
next phase when I'm like, the only fear I have, bro, is my dress shirts are starting to do this thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dude, I just bought those dress shirts, man.
Mm.
Like they ain't got enough room for my back and my shoulders anymore, dude. Good
uh,
problem, swole problem,
yeah,
right?
good
Swole problem.
problems. Good problems.
Yeah,
Good
swole
problems, man.
problems.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I
Yeah,
will let you get going. I know you got some stuff going on at home with little birthday celebrations. So
yeah,
I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to be on and again sharing your journey, man. So let's keep on
yeah.
putting in that work. Keep getting those Stetzels in,
Oh, the damn Stetzels.
surviving, and we'll see where we're at in a couple more months, brother.
I'm pumped, dude. I'm freaking pumped.
I
I'm
like it.
enjoying it. So
Cool, brother.
thanks.
Yep.